All right, let's talk about LinkedIn. You know it, you probably use it. It's the place you go for your professional life online. We're talking over a billion users, a business pulling in more than 16 billion bucks a year. I mean, on the surface, it looks like an unstoppable giant, right? But something's not quite right. There's this problem brewing just beneath the surface, a real crisis of trust that could actually threaten the whole thing. So in this teardown, we're going to dig in and figure out what's really going on.
I mean, let's be honest. For a lot of us, logging into LinkedIn feels kind of weird, right? You hear people call it cringy, toxic, or just a total waste of time. It's this bizarre thing where it's so successful, yet so many of us can't stand using it. So that's what we're really getting into today. Not just how LinkedIn got so big, but why being so big has created an experience that drives people nuts. And more importantly, we're going to explore how it might actually be fixed. Okay, so to really get how we ended up here, we need to rewind the clock. I'm talking way back. Think about a world before LinkedIn, a world of actual, physical Rolodexes on your desk, stacks of business cards from conferences. That was it. And then, boom, the dot-com bust happened, turning everything upside down and creating this massive void. A perfect opportunity for a totally new way to think about our careers.
So into that chaos steps LinkedIn. It was cooked up in late 2002, literally in Reid Hoffman's living room, by guys from the legendary PayPal Mafia. And when it launched in 2003, it was basic. Super simple, all about utility. And this is the genius part. They were incredibly patient. They didn't rush. First, they focused on getting the right people on board, the big names in Silicon Valley. They built a network that had real, genuine value before they even tried to make a dime. It wasn't until 2005 that they even introduced things like jobs and subscriptions, and just a year after that, they were already profitable. That's a masterclass right there.
Now, that patient approach wasn't just about taking it slow. No. It was about building a fortress. We're talking about a competitive advantage, a moat, so deep and so wide that it became basically impossible for anyone else to even try to compete. So how on earth did they pull that off? Let's break it down.
The foundation of that entire fortress, it's one simple, beautiful concept: the network effect. Think about it. Why do you join LinkedIn? Because that's where the jobs and recruiters are. And why do recruiters pay to be on LinkedIn? You guessed it, because that's where all the professionals, like you, are. It's this powerful, self-feeding loop. The more people that join, the more valuable it gets for everyone, which pulls in even more people. It's a cycle that just gets stronger and stronger, locking everybody in and keeping competitors out. And what's the payoff for building a fortress like that? How about $16.4 billion in a single year? That number is just staggering. It's proof of just how perfectly they capture the entire professional market. They built this professional graph, and they figured out how to monetize the heck out of it. But how they actually make that money? Well, that's where it gets even more clever. So they don't put all their eggs in one basket. It's a brilliant, diversified model. You've got talent solutions. That's the stuff for recruiters. It's the biggest chunk of the pie. No surprise there. But then they have this huge B2B advertising business with marketing solutions. And on top of that, there's a steady stream from people like us paying for premium subscriptions. Having these three big pillars means they're incredibly stable, super resilient, even if the economy gets a little shaky.
So everything sounds perfect, right? Unbeatable moat, money pouring in, but here's the twist in the story. The very thing that made LinkedIn so incredibly dominant, its massive, massive scale, has now become its biggest Achilles heel. Those fortress walls are starting to show some serious cracks, and it's all leading to a massive crisis of trust. And here it is, the central conflict boiled down. It's scale versus trust. See, the push to grow, to get every single person on the planet on the platform has had a huge side effect. The algorithm started rewarding any kind of engagement, no matter how, cringy. And that has just destroyed the sense of authenticity. I mean, think about it. When anyone can just make up stories to get likes, how can you possibly trust anything you're seeing on your feed?
And look, this isn't just a vibe or a feeling we all have. It has real-world consequences. This quote from an actual hiring manager says it all. They're basically saying they have to assume people are lying on their profiles. Think about that. The very people paying LinkedIn's bills, the recruiters, can't trust the information they're paying for. That's not just a small problem. That's a trust deficit that attacks the entire business model at its core.
And for the rest of us, for you and me, this trust problem shows up in a bunch of other nasty ways. You know what I'm talking about. The infamous Cringe feed, just flooded with humble brags and those weird personal stories that have nothing to do with work.
the nonstop glorification of hustle culture and burnout. It gives us all LinkedIn envy, making us feel anxious and inadequate. And worse, it's become a playground for scammers with fake jobs and phishing attempts. The tool that was meant to help our careers has actually become a source of risk. Okay, so how in the world do you fix a problem that big? This is where things get really fun. We're going to shift from talking about the problems to talking about solutions. We're going to lay out a potential roadmap, a way to completely rebuild LinkedIn around the one thing that's most valuable and most broken: trust. Here's the vision, a kind of dream roadmap laid out over 3 years. Step 1, year 1, is all about fixing the core product, laying a new foundation of trust and real utility. Step 2, year 2, is about building on top of that new foundation with features that add deep, real value, maybe even an AI copilot. And then step 3, year 3, that's when you use that restored trust to completely redefine how we all interact professionally online.
The entire plan, the whole big idea, hinges on one massive shift in thinking. LinkedIn has to change from what it is right now, basically a platform where you can claim anything you want, to something totally new, a ledger of verifiable proof. You're not just saying you did something, you're proving it. This is the only way to get at the root of the authenticity crisis. So how does that even work? Well, the key technology is something called verifiable credentials, or VCs. The easiest way to think about them is like a digital, completely tamper-proof certificate. So your university could issue a VC for your degree, your old boss could issue one for your time at their company. These aren't just JPEGs, they are secure, cryptographically signed bits of data that you and only you control, and anyone can check them instantly to see if they're legit.
So what would this actually look like on your profile? Just imagine it. You'd see a little blue verified checkmark right next to your job title or next to your degree. And when you hover your mouse over it, it would pop up and say, verified by Google or verified by your university. And all these digital proofs, they'd live in a brand new, super secure wallet tab on your profile that only you can manage. You would be in complete control of your own verified professional story.
Look at the difference this makes. It completely changes the game. Today's LinkedIn, its value is all about network size. It's a numbers game based on claims people make about themselves. A verified LinkedIn, its value would be built on network trust, where claims are actually proven. For recruiters, the guesswork is gone. For us, our real accomplishments have real weight. The value proposition is just undeniable.
And this really goes way beyond just LinkedIn, doesn't it? This pivot from scale back to trust, it makes you wonder, could this be the future for our entire professional identity online? You know, in a world that's getting flooded with misinformation and AI-generated everything, maybe shifting from a world of take my word for it to a world of here's the proof is the only real path forward. LinkedIn has this incredible opportunity. They can do more than just fix the cringe feed. They could actually build the very foundation of trust for the next chapter of the digital age. What do you think?